Hi, I'm Gwendolyn Sterk from Sterk Family Law, and this is our third year of doing our not-for-profit Heroes of the Month. I can't believe we're already into 2022, and we have the honor and privilege to have the organization of the month, Love Moves Us, as our January hero. So welcome. Hi, Jason. This is Jason Bentsen. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Gwen. Thanks for having me. Yeah, my wife and I moved to this area about 10 years ago, and both were adoptive parents. We have two kids that we adopted at birth. And as we started meeting more and more families who had adopted or even fostered, we really quickly became aware of the need for families needing support. And that was kind of overwhelmingly what we saw across the board, was that these families kind of were looking to connect with other families who really kind of knew and understood what this whole thing, that they're doing, that other people weren't doing, what it was, and to have that community aspect.
Oh, very cool. So you started the organization back in what date? What year?
It was 2016 when we started Love Moves Us. We started just by inviting families we knew, having them come over to our house. The first time we did that, it was, really kind of loosey-goosey and looked a little different than it does now. And just kind of started to see, people connecting and wanting to connect and wanting to come back. And so we incorporated and got our 501c3 all in 2016. And within 12 months of doing that, we had not only gone from our one group, but we were hosting 4 groups across Chicagoland. Oh. We'd done one in Joliet, one in Frankfurt, one in Elgin, and one down in Bourbonnais at that time, just all within the first year.
Wow, that's incredible. So tell us who it is that you service. Is it simply the adoptive parents, or what does this encompass?
Yeah, so we look to serve and support the entire family when it comes to any families who have fostered or are fostering children, or have adopted, or are even in process of adoption, or process of getting licensed for foster care. What we know is that when you parent children who don't come from you biologically, that can oftentimes incorporate some trauma that you're bringing into your home. And trauma can be as, I hate to downplay it at all, like as minimal as just being separated from your birth family. You were adopted as an infant, and you are not with your birth family. You were adopted into somebody else's home. And so kind of every child wrestles with that a little differently, and how they come to terms with that. And then certainly those who are in foster care have likely endured a lot of different traumas, whether it be abuse or neglect, other traumas that they've seen of domestic violence and drug abuse, and frequently research shows as well that it doesn't have to necessarily incorporate adoption or foster care in terms of trauma. Early childhood trauma can happen in the form of a difficult birth, early hospitalizations. All those things are risk factors. Difficult pregnancy are risk factors for our children and how they develop in a normal line of trajectory as they're supposed to. It impacts that.
So you're then both supporting the parents, whether that be foster or adoptive parents, and the children, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Our whole platform is, we want parents to be together on this stuff, because frequently we'll see, moms are typically more interested in doing something like this than dads are. And I joke all the time with people. I'm like, listen, if I'd come to one of our programs, my wife probably would have been dragging me, had I not started what I've started here. But that's just the difference, I think, a lot of times between women and men. And so we want families to be together and on the same page, and getting, the same information and support together. But also like bringing the kids, and what I've heard from adult adoptees is they wish they had something like this when they were a child. And so there's a great benefit for families, even when they don't think they necessarily need it, to come around another community where, this is just normal. They're not the child who is adopted, or the child in foster care, or, the Black child with a white family, or the Asian child with, all those things. When those kids can kind of help form their identity and seeing that they're not the only ones, and other families and other kids that look like them. It's hugely important for those kids in forming their strong sense of identity and self-worth and efficacy and stuff.
So then what do the programs look like?
Yeah, so our main program, what we've called it, is family gatherings, because we want the whole family to come. And so we feed everybody dinner, we get a free dinner, and we have built-in children's programming. So that's where the main thrust of us getting volunteers involved comes into play. Is volunteers come and we write a whole program and get supplies and activities and everything all already and done for them. And they run that stuff with the children themselves. And so that way it does a couple of things. It takes away the barrier for parents to be able to attend, because oftentimes that is a barrier. Is like, what do I do with my kids? What, I need a babysitter or something, It's like, no, you can bring them. And same thing with dinner, it's just another thing. You don't have to get the kids fed and out the door. You just show up and we've got everything taken care of for you. And then we feed everybody, feed the volunteers, feed the kids, and then we leave the kids with the volunteers, and adults go and have dinner together without the kids around. So the kids are in a separate space. Yeah. And after dinner, we kind of do a small group discussion. And so we just have smaller groups that usually 12 to 16 adults is typically what it looks like, and discuss topics that are really relevant to them, and giving them tools that they can take home and begin to utilize to help build trust and eliminate fear that you often see in kids who have experienced trauma. A lot of times we don't see it. We see weird behaviors, things that a lot of times we'll think, a lot of people frequently think that corporal punishment is what that child needs, and really what it is those behaviors are a communication of a need that they're not getting met, and they don't know how to get met appropriately. And so it's looking at that through a lens of compassion to help the kids get what they need and help them heal,
So it's really putting together people who are similarly situated.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
That would be both for the kids and the parents, so that you can really gain strength, gain tools, and gain relationships really with people.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. For sure. And the relationships that are forged are just, it's been great to see. And we hear, get the feedback too, that, people are just love what we've created, and they long to come back every single month. And, since COVID's hit, we've done a lot of this stuff online. It's not quite the same. It gives us something, but we've tried to do some in-person things as we feel we can do, either outdoors or other, ways to do it more safely, to make everybody feel comfortable, and to give that face-to-face interaction that people long for, and the friendships and relationships, and just, the camaraderie of getting around and going, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one.
Alone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not alone. And then the other question I have is, so in the first year, you talked about those 4 locations of having programs, and it evolved very quickly. How many locations do you operate now in terms of our community?
So we're operating things a little bit differently right now because of COVID. We've done some stuff online, which allows anybody to be able to jump in and be involved from wherever they're at. All of our groups that are started in person, they're started by a volunteer, somebody who wants to see this happen in their community. And so we help them and support them in doing it, but it really takes a volunteer to do that. Right now we have 2 locations. It's Joliet, and we have one in Cherville, Indiana is the other location. And so between those 2 and online, that's where we've been able to serve a lot of people. And we're always looking to start more locations. That's why I tell people all the time, it's like, I don't start them, I help people start them,
So let's say that you're listening to us today and you're saying, well, I have these foster kids and I'd like to adopt them. I'm just not sure. We're struggling as a couple, trying to make decisions. We really could use this support. What's the first step that somebody should take to get a hold of you, or to reach out to try to get?
Yeah, they can go onto our website. We have our programs listed there every single month as to what we're doing. They can find out a little bit of information there. They can always email us, call us. happy to talk with people and, listen to a little bit of their story and give some advice and perspective that oftentimes people want. But we just encourage people to jump into the gatherings that we do, whether they be online or in person. Jump in, because you're going to meet people that you're going to connect with and form an affinity for and friendship with. And it's great for your kids. And you're going to learn some really valuable tools when it comes to parenting your children and being able to meet their needs and help them develop into the healthy, strong, self-secure, confident adults that we want them to be.
Yeah, because I don't think that there's a model where one size fits all, meaning we're all different. There's 1,000 different ways maybe to answer the same problem, but by getting that concept from other people, what they've learned and what they've experienced can be really helpful to somebody. So
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me how somebody would support you. What opportunities are there for individuals to get involved?
Sure. Yeah. So again, you can always jump onto our website. We've got a tab there for volunteer, or you can scroll down and find volunteering options. What I said before is we've got a couple of big ways that people can get involved besides obviously giving. Every nonprofit, needs people to give and support that way. And we look at all of our donors as partners that help us do what we're able to do. For sure. But volunteering either with the children's program at our family gatherings or offering to be a host. Sometimes we have groups that meet in homes. That's what we've done pre-COVID. They've been in homes. And currently we have a couple of groups that are meeting in churches. And so we need people to come and kind of be the host at the church because it's not anybody's home. So that's another great way. Additionally, one of our other programs we have is what we call Family Serving Families. And that's where we match a volunteer in the community with a family who's foster or adopted that they can directly support. And we give them monthly, we're just asking them to do it monthly and give them monthly reminders and ideas for ways that they can serve and support that family directly. And we've seen that be a huge blessing to the families that are recipients of that program. It's been awesome for them. So that's another big way.
And then do you have any events that might be coming up in the near future? I know our events have all gotten changed, but anything that you guys have on the horizon?
Yeah, so I am actually partnering with an agency in Bolingbrook to teach what we call TBRI, trust-based relational intervention. It's an evidence-based model for caring for kids who have experienced trauma and really anybody. It's a great way for learning how to interact and understand what human behavior is in terms of communication. And it's so incredibly practical and helpful for parents with their children. That's the first thing we have going. And then we have our monthly gatherings, and all that stuff's going to be on our website here as well. So typically we do monthly, we do different events. And you can find that stuff on our website too.
Well, very cool. I'm sure you and your wife never thought that, for that first meeting that it would spring to the development of the organization that you have today.
Yeah, it's been quite a wild ride. Pretty cool to see. And, cool. We're grateful, just grateful to be able to bless and help and serve families and what we hear over and over from everybody. Like this is what so many families are looking for. This is what they really need, and why they come and why we've been able to continue to grow and serve so many families.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Now, can you give everybody your website? I assume it's on the bottom here, lovemoves.us.
Yep, that's our website, lovemoves.us. Love moves us.
And then are you on Facebook and other social media platforms as well?
Yes, we have a Facebook page and on Instagram as well.
Very good.
And we're on YouTube, so you can get some parenting tips and stuff on YouTube as well.
Perfect. Well, Jason, we really appreciate your time today, and thank you so much for sharing the information about your organization.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.